What does impactful change look like? I think the word I often use is sustainable. Yeah, you can go in, certainly on the data side, you can go in, you can create some dashboards, some reports, whatever you want to call them, and they can be good for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they start to become stale, they start to become irrelevant, and you start to drown under your own complexity. So if you want to use data to make an impact in companies, you've got to do it properly. So if we can make these things sustainable, then you can adopt all the new technology that's coming out, the extraordinary rate of change with generative AI and large language models. To leverage those, you've got to do things properly. So we have to be sustainable for the long term. There's no point coming into a customer, doing a few quick wins, and then it goes stale before you've almost walked out the door. You've got to enable people to leverage data for the long term. So that's not just 2-3 months. That's years from now. And if you look back at some of the initial projects I worked on, these things have been built in the 70s and the 80s, and they're still working in some places because they were built properly in the first place. So it may seem like an awful lot of effort to do the basics properly now, but if you want to make an impact, you've got to do these things properly. Some projects where we've made a real impact, long-term sustainable impact. We worked with a county council for over 3 years to reinvigorate their whole data program. Like they had a vision, they had a strategy, but they just didn't know how to get from where they were, which was siloed data. People didn't really understand how modern data programs work, to a point where they built really solid foundations. They built a sustainable data program. And that work, it wasn't a very big team. It was like 3 or 4 of us working with this county council for over 3 years, and we enabled their team to become self-sufficient. We in fact made ourselves redundant. That was in some ways really rewarding, because we'd come in, we made a difference, we'd empower them to do data properly, and then we'd gradually step back. So that's it makes a huge difference to I think the strategy line for this council was, using data to benefit all of our citizens. And I think we did. We touched on every department, every service. We enabled a lot of people to enrich their jobs and do their jobs better with the use of data.